Hello, everybody. This is Move Easy Yoga Online with Via. It's August 10th, 2020. Welcome aboard. We're going to start the way we almost always start, just lying on your back, supine, bringing your attention into the room, noticing your breath, noticing the floor underneath you, supporting you. Noticing any areas in your body where you're carrying tension today. And breathe into those areas. If you have a mantra or a sankalpa, you can say that now and allow it to permeate your practice today. And then go ahead and bring your hands behind your head. Interlace your fingers or stack them. We're going to do a vagus nerve reset, just keeping everything still except the eyeballs, and then moving your eyeballs to the right. Eyes open or closed, waiting for an involuntary sigh, swallow, gulp, or yawn. Come back to center. Shift your eyeballs to the left. Come back to center. Do this 2 more times, 2 more sets, right, left, right, left. Come back to center. Head ramping, pressing the back of your skull, the base of your skull and the back into your hands, into the floor, pressing, and then holding, and then releasing. You should feel the cervical spine move as your nose drops and your chin drops. And your head, the back of your head lifts along the floor. And repeat that 2 or 3 times. And then bring your arms beside your hips or on your belly and chest. And choose your favorite breathing practice. And finish up. Go ahead and extend your legs. And we're going to do a side lying hypopressive. You start on your back, but when we do 3 breaths, and then when you start to hold your breath, you roll to the right into a side lying position and hold your breath out. Oops. And hold on, before I do that, let me find that alarm and fix it so it won't go off. There. Okay, 3 breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. Exhale, all the way out. Hold your breath out, roll to the right, to your side, and stay here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then inhale, exhale, roll onto your back. Now we'll do 3 more breaths and roll to the other side. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Last breath, inhale. Exhale, all the way out. No breath, roll to the left. Stay here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Roll back onto your back. And grab your strap. We're going to do leg stretch 1 and 2. This is good for the hips, the hamstrings, and for building bones because we are going to count and hold for 30 seconds. So grab your strap and try not to round your back while you put the strap on your foot at the pad, at the toe pads. Bring your leg up to the ceiling. There she goes. Hi, Parvin. We're starting leg stretch 1. Okay, there you go. Up, and I'm gonna put the timer on, so 30 seconds, because you're building bone density in the femur, the head of the femur, and in the hip socket. And just stay here and breathe. And you're pulling your foot towards your face, but not rounding the pelvis. And now go ahead and grab both the strap with your right hand and take your leg out to the right. So remember, you want to still keep the left hip on the floor. So your leg may or may not come all the way to the floor. You don't need to put anything under it. That's another kind of practice, because we're trying, and you can bring your toes towards your face if you can, toes and legs. This also is working on, I'm guessing, Fishman doesn't really say for each pose, this is working on the hips, this is working on the spine. But I'm saying this is a femur and hip socket. Okay, go ahead and come back. And release, and other side. It occurs to me I should do the fracks to tell you what your fracks might look like in 14 years, 10 or 14 years. That's what I should do. Okay, or 22 years in the case of Leslie. Okay, there it goes. Leg up. What we're looking for here is creating tension on the bone, if that, or pressure in the bone. But I mean, you don't want to hurt yourself, but you should feel the torque that's happening. So this is not muscle. In this case, when you're talking about osteoporosis, this is not muscle work, this is skeletal work. Take the leg out to the left. Keep the right hip on the floor. Breathe. You can bring your leg that's, the left leg that's out, bring it a little closer to the face if you can. And waiting. So you have to wait because bone building doesn't start until 12 to 72 seconds after you start the pressure. Okay. Come on up to standing, you guys, and we're going to do the back bend that is Fishman's. This is coming to be one of my favorite back extensions on the wall. So you're going to stand in front of the wall, maybe about a foot away, and then bring your arms overhead and put your palms on the floor, on the wall. And you shouldn't feel this in the lower back. Change your position. If you do feel it in the lower back, you should feel it in the upper back a lot, though, because this is a big deal. And the tension is created because you're pressing on your hands. And I'm going to start your 30-second timer. So press your chest forward in front of you. And breathe. And I'm liking this pose because when I do it, I feel like I'm really doing something that's not often available at the upper back. Go ahead and stop. We're going to do some footwork now. You can be standing or you could be seated. Take your pick. Kathy's going to put something on her foot to help guide us. She's going to put the 6 points.
Okay, you got to help me with this.
The first one is at the top of the arch. Yes, right there, about there. A little lower than that. So it's under the mound. It's not in the mound, Kathy. It's a little lower than that. So make it tucks in. Yeah, it tucks in below the mound. Yeah, okay, that's 1. And then 2 is in the center of the arch. And then 3 is below that and before the heel, in front of the heel. And then 4 is on the outside of the center, so the outside of 2. And 5 is on the inside of 2, on the inside of the arch, center of the arch. And then 6 is above 5, just below the toe mound. Yep. So that's it. So look at the markers, and then come on up to standing. I'd like you to walk around first, just for a before test, and then walk around for, a little bit, 30 seconds. Then we'll start working with the ball. We're going to start on the right foot, just because it's easy to keep track of. If I can always start on the right, then if I have a senior moment in the middle and I'm on the right, then I know I still have to do the left. That's my thinking. My best thinking. That's one good reason to always start on the right. So start at point number 1, and you're going to just hold it there. Let's say 10 seconds. We're going to hold it for 10 seconds. So start, press, breathe, and go to number 2, which is in the center. Hold on. And start on number 2. Move to position 3, which is just in front of the heel, the calcaneus. Press for 10 seconds. You can do more than 10. This is not like, this is not attached to bone building so much. That was number 3. The 4th position is back to the center of the arch and out to the outside of your foot. Position number 4. Position number 5 is straight across on the inside. Press, breathe, stand up tall. The last position is just underneath the big toe mound. So come up above the number 5 position. And when I first started on this position, it was very painful. When I first started doing this. Breathe, stand tall, enjoy, I hope. Switch feet, left side. Ball at position 1. And start, I'm going to start timing. Position 2 is just below that in the center of the arch. I think I should next time do 15 seconds. It seems so short.
Yes.
Number 3 is below that, just in front of the heel. Number 4 is back to center and to the outside of the foot. I'm going to wait here a minute so Kathy can get some.
I'll wait for me.
We're going to wait for Kathy a little bit. You can stay there if you want. And then that was 4 and no, that was 5, right? On the outside. And then the last one is above that, just below. Oh, no, we have to go to the inside. Sorry. Go to the inside. Go to the inside, number 5, and start. Press down. Don't roll. I don't recommend rolling. Some people do. Some teachers will. I don't recommend rolling on the feet. And then
Now 6.
Next thing is above that, above 5, at the just below the big toe mound. And stop. Go ahead and walk around. See if you can notice a difference or not. There's no right or wrong answer to this, but it's really about awareness. What are you aware of? Proprioception. And the feet, actually, working on the feet actually always improves proprioception. So you'll be aware of whatever you are experiencing, more aware of whatever you're experiencing, and it'll improve your balance. We're going to do some standing hip work with a block or a book at the wall. You're going to be standing, we're going to do the pendulum and hip hikes and a side bend, Kathy. Standing, the inside foot is standing on the brick. You might want to be a little away from the wall to give yourself space for the arm that's in between your torso and the wall. Standing on the brick with your inside foot and then dangling the right foot, or in Kathy's case, she's dangling on the right. This is just called a pendulum. It's not an aggressive swinging of at the hips. It's more of an allowing and creating more space with the femur at the hip joint. Just letting it move forward and back. And then pause. We're going to stay here on this side and hike your hip. So you can put your hand on the top of the side of your pelvis and then hitch up and then go back down and hitch up. The advantage of standing on the brick is you have more space to drop back or move. So creating a little bit more range option because you're standing on the brick. And the last thing we're going to do in this triplet is cross the right ankle over the left. Bring the right arm overhead. This is a side bend. Up and over, palm facing the wall, the elbow toward the ceiling. So your torso, your lumbar spine, the waist moves away from the wall, right, in a side bend. And then if you want to, you can press your hand into the wall or even slide it down a little bit as if you're painting, or imagine painting the wall with a brush. Your hand is the brush. And that should create even more a side bend for you. Very nice. And come on out and switch sides. Standing on the brick again with the other leg, dangling or pendulum. Just easy does it. This is a treat for your femur. I'd always thought it was confined by the floor, but it's not in this case.
I sometimes do this when I'm walking. I'll stand on one foot on the curb.
Yes, this is a great curb movement. And then go ahead and do hip hikes. So what's hiking is the left side of your pelvis is hiking up. The other side is dropping, actually. And now let's move to the side bend. Actually, Jill Miller calls this boomerang. You may want to bring your brick a little farther out to allow the side bend to happen, more side bending. Cross your left ankle over your right, and then bring your left arm up toward the wall and then over. So the palm is fingers are facing the floor. Press against the wall with your hand so you can create more side bend. And just breathe, enjoy. Elbow is up towards the ceiling. Fingers pointing down. Breathing, breathing, breathing. And then finish up and come onto your chair. The first thing we're going to do is a figure 4. So this means starting on the right, bringing your right knee towards your face, and then when your ankle's up higher off the floor, you can cross it over the knee. Figure 4, great hip opener. Sit tall, everybody, and then do a hip hinge, flat back hip hinge forward. So remember that you want to keep your chest open, your cervical spine parallel to the rest of your spine. Yeah, it's better to see, you can see Kathy better on a side view. So coming forward, keeping your chest open, long straight back, no rounding, please. Think of your back as a broomstick. Just stay here. This is great for releasing and creating traction in the lower spine. Breathing. And then come back up using your abdominals and your quads. Come all the way back up to seated, good posture. One more time, flat back, hip hinge. Think of the hinge happening at the hip. There's no other hinges going on, no other rounding. It could be small. This could be a very small movement because you want to make it pure first and then big later. Take a couple breaths on your broomstick. And then use your abdominals and your quadriceps to bring yourself up to seated. Stay in a figure 4, stay in good posture, and circle your ankle. And make sure that the circle is happening at the ankle, so not the front of the foot. And about 9 on one side and 9 on the other. Sitting tall. Getting the benefit of good posture, and also a hip opener with figure 4 and ankle work. The next thing I want you to do is take your fingers, either hand, and put them between the toes. It's a handshake, toe handshake. And while you're there, after you've accomplished that, get them as far down as you can. You can do circles, or you could actually do dorsiflex, plantarflex. So back and forth with the shake. Just actually whatever feels good, just use the handshake to move the foot. And you can even squeeze the toes with squeeze the fingers with the toes. Go ahead and switch sides. So bring your right foot down and bring your left knee towards your face. So lift that up first and then cross over with your ankle. Flat back hip hinge. So from here, just come forward, fold forward at the hip. So you're moving forward, the spine forward at the hip joint. Chest is open. Breathing, breathing, breathing. You should feel a really nice expansion, opening at the lower back. If you can't feel it, open your chest a little bit more, and I think then you will. And then whenever you're ready, just use your abdominals and your quadriceps to bring yourself up. And go back down one more time, flat back hip hinge. So one of the things that Fishman says that I agree with totally, is he doesn't, well, maybe it's just for people as old as I am. So, but he doesn't think you should be no rounding. So this kind of exercise is really right up his alley, because you're not rounding the spine. What happens when you round the spine, if you have osteoporosis or osteopenia, is you have a greater risk of compression fractures. Come on up, abs, ankle circles. Because the fracture happens on the front of the spine. So you can see if you flex forward, you're actually compressing the front of the spine, and that's where the breakage or the fracture or the compression fracture occurs, is at the front of the spine. It's along the front of the vertebra. That's why back bends are cool, flat backs are cool, and rounding, not cool. Now, let me say that if you have spinal stenosis, it's another condition. You have a real dilemma, because back bends are not good if you have spinal stenosis. Sorry. If you have both osteoporosis and spinal stenosis, you have a dilemma. I mean, there are ways out of it, but you have to be much more careful. So after you've done your ankle circles, move to your toe handshake. And just remember, you can do anything you want there. And finish up and come up to standing. We're going to do some balancing and short foot. Let's do short foot first, because that might help with balancing. Short foot can actually be done standing or seated, but we're going to do it standing. You need to be You should be near a chair or a railing or a wall or a counter, like a kitchen counter, not a number counter.
Okay.
Feet straight forward. We're going to start with the right foot. Lift the toes, spread them, drop the feet, the toes, and press on the floor with the toe pads. And stay here and take some breaths. Feel the activation of the arch that runs from the back of the foot to the front, or the front to the back, whichever way you want to look at it. And then release. Switch sides. Toes up. Spread the toes. Lower the toes. Press on the toe pads, not the metatarsals behind the toe pads. Find that arch. You should start to feel, the more you do this, the more you'll be more aware of the activation of the plantar arch. And then go to the other side. Lift, spread, lower, press the toe pads in, and wait. Nice adjustment, Kathy. And then the other side, lift, spread, lower, press the toe pads into the floor. And we're going to do it one more time, and I'm going to ask you to notice the another arch while you're here. So go ahead and lift your toes, spread them, lower them, press the toes into the floor, toe pads into the floor. Notice your big toe and your little toe and the arch that runs that direction between the big toe and the little toe, as well as noticing the plantar arch front to back. Just a little bit more awareness of the arches in the foot. And then switch to the other side. Lift, spread, lower the toes, press the toe pads into the floor. Notice the plantar arch from front to back, back to front. Then notice the arch between the big toe and the little toe across the front of the foot. Notice that arch too. Good work. We're going to, the next thing we're going to do is find your, I forgot to mention this, find the half round. And, or you can use a brick, a yoga brick, if you don't have a half round. But the half round is actually better.
I think we'll do this.
So the half round, what are you doing, my dear? Oh, you think, okay, so people can see you. Okay, so you're going to, the half round is in front of you. I would put it against near a wall because this is kind of like a balancing. But she doesn't, Kathy doesn't have to. She wants to put it here so you can see it.
Right.
So her right foot is going to go on the left end of the half round. You can get these, they aren't very expensive. You can get them at Amazon or somewhere else actually. So we're going to do the three-way ankle stretch. This, just what Kathy's doing right now is a really nice calf stretch. But now she's going to take her ankle and flex it forward about 9 times. Just flex it forward, back and forth she goes. Just quietly inviting the ankle to increase its range of motion, or to, yes, that's. So if it hurts the knee, you've gone too far. If you feel yourself pushing forward with your knee, that's not the right place to be working either. You're working really at the ankle joint. And after you've done 9, then do the same thing, except you're going to change the flexion. It's forward flexion towards the inside of the foot, and do 9 of those. So it's the foot stays where it is, but the flexion moves a little bit to the inside of the foot. Just trying to keep, you won't get as much range of motion here. But 9 of those. And then the last of the set is also staying where you are, but making the flexion angle off to the outside of the foot. So still working at the ankle, still flexing forward, but a little bit to the outside of the foot, 9 times. This is my very favorite way to increase strength and mobility and stability in the ankle. There are others. Ankle circles also actually are good. This is good for hikers. Via says to Leslie. Okay, and finish that and switch sides. I love this one. Probably doing this every day would not be a bad thing. Forward flexion first. Remember, it's all at the ankle, not the knee comes forward because of the ankle movement, but it doesn't initiate the movement. It's a follower. And then the next move is flexing forward on the ankle, but a little bit to the inside of the foot. So it's going to be a little different movement. It's actually less, you have less range of motion there. You'll always have less range of motion. You have even less range of motion when you're flexing towards the outside of the foot. But you're flexing now towards the inside of the foot. So forward flexion to the inside. And then finish that. And the last one is forward flexion towards the outside of the foot, 9 times. I should ask Caitlin how her foot is. And when you're finished, you're finished. We've done short foot, we've done the 3-way ankle stretch. Let's do balancing. Let's do heel lifts first, and then we'll add therapy balls. So the heel lift is really simple. Feet are straight forward. You may want to be putting your hands on a chair or a wall. This is definitely a balancing pose that needs to be in a safety zone. Lifting your heels and then lowering them, keeping a good posture, and then adding a therapy ball between your ankles at the back of your ankles, which will allow your body to wake up the glutes and the core. So the core, the connection between the feet and the glutes and the core will wake up. It kind of invites that with the balls. You get some of that without the balls, but the balls help with that. And just lift and lower and keep the ball squeezed between your feet at the back of the ankle. Make sure you're as far back as you can go. And while you're doing this, try to stand tall. I know you want to peek at your feet occasionally, but and just finish that up. And then we're going to do the tree pose. So if you hate the tree pose, you can do just the basic balancing on one foot with bringing your knee up towards your face. But otherwise, you're going to do a hip rotation and bring the knee out to the side. So starting in good posture with everything stacked. I think it's a little precarious to have that box down there, Kathy. Are you going to stand on that?
No, it actually is better for me because it's flat. It's better than a carpet.
Than the carpet. Okay.
Yeah.
So, so if Kathy, put the chair on the other side.
I was just thinking that.
Let's see. Well, I was going to say put it on the very other side. So you can choose, actually, the reality is you could choose which one feels right for you. I think Caitlin's going to have it on the other side. But you're standing straight forward, and then we're going to start on the right foot, because remember, that's the rule. And then the leg comes up, the foot comes up along the thigh. It can be at the ankle, actually, or it can be just below the knee or just above the knee, or even all the way up into the groin. So we're, okay, so now, and stay there. And this is a bone building pose, and we are going to time it. Well, I didn't start right away, so hold on. I won't time it this time. So switch sides, everybody. Let me say that this is a bone building pose. It builds bones at the femur and the hip socket. And I'm going to time you again. If you want to, if you dare, bring your arms up overhead, palms touching over your head. That's a little more balancing, and it might not be available. And so you won't want to, you'll want to do something else, like prayer pose. Very nice, everybody. Let me see. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to do the, we're going to come down on the floor and do level 1 back extension and thoracic stretch. So we're running out of time, but I want you to do a back extension. We won't go to level 2. We'll go to just level 1. And we'll hold it for 30 seconds. This is a back building pose if it's held. So here you are you start with your arms at your side, palms up. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, lift your chest, your arms, your head, I'm going to start timing. You're going to stay here for 30 seconds. You can stay here or you can lift a little higher. This is definitely working on building bone for the spine, the upper, the upper thoracic spine mainly. And you have 13 seconds. And keep breathing and keep opening your chest. And there you go. Come on back down. Bring your arms out in a T. Palms down. Looking to the right. Lifting your right leg and crossing it over your left. Looking to the right. Yes. Lifting your right leg and crossing it back. So remember in this pose, which is, one of my favorites, especially it's a counter for back bends. You can bend your knee, you can move your hips as far as you want, but the shoulders, arms, and armpits stay on the floor. Come on back. Other side, look left. Lift the left leg up, over, behind you. Hips come up too, maybe. Arms and shoulders, armpits stay on the floor. Very nice. Let's call it a day and get ready for Yoga Nidra. Just find a comfortable spot, supine, on your back. You could put a bolster or pillow or blanket under your knees. Or you could extend your legs. If you extend your legs, go ahead and internally rotate your legs, your hips, and then externally rotate them and flop your legs out to the side. I'm going to start mentioning the 61 points, starting with your breath, breathing in and out, watching the abdomen rise and fall. And now bring your awareness to the center of your eyebrows, center of your throat, right shoulder, elbow, wrist, right thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, right wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, left shoulder, elbow, wrist, left thumb, second finger, third finger, fourth finger, fifth finger, left wrist, elbow, shoulder, center of your throat, spiritual heart center, right side of your chest, heart center, left side of your chest, heart center, navel center, center of your pelvis, right hip, knee, ankle, right big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, right ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, left hip, left knee, ankle, left big toe, second toe, third toe, fourth toe, fifth toe, left ankle, knee, hip, center of your pelvis, navel center, heart center, center of your throat, center of your eyebrows. That completes the 61-point guided Yoga Nidra meditation today. Go ahead and bring your attention back to your body and your breath. Stretch your arms overhead, stretch your legs out along the mat. See if you can create a little length, more length between the pelvis and the rib cage. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. Make some circles with your wrists and your ankles. Hug your right knee to your chest and the left. both knees and roll to the, towards me. Into a fetal position, using your bottom arm as a pillow for about 10 or 30 seconds. And then bring yourself up to seated. Everyone unmute yourself once you get up to seated in your favorite floor seated position. I'm gonna put the gallery view on so that I can see you all. And I can't do that for you, so you'll have to do that for yourselves. Bring your hands together. Press your hands together. See if you can find a little bit more, kind of self-love and strength for the shoulders there. Also, you're also activating the nerve endings in your palms. You do that. Release that. Lift the base of the skull up and roll and rock and roll over the top of the cervical spine. Nodding, bowing, acknowledging, honoring each other, the light in each other, the light that is one light. And we're going to close the class by saying to each other, Namaste.
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 Thank you, everybody.